we talked about this earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Saturday morning,
Mm-hmm.
I woke up, checked the newspaper, and saw this headline that just blew me away. Ueli Steck killed warming up for Everest.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, you know, it just, my heart sank, of course. And then I thought about you. And, you know, you guys are peers. You know, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought about you. Oof, you know, he just got back from Alaska. He's headed off to Pakistan. And actually, I thought, my next thought was the conversation that you have with a partner. You know, well, I mean, did that happen? I mean, you and Shannon talked about, you know, Ueli Steck. I mean, that's a rough one.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's yeah, I mean it's really challenging. It's something that you know, the mountains are not a particularly safe place. And
I have come to feel that way over the years.
And yeah, I mean totally. And it's, you know, we all have lost a lot of friends to them. And
Yes.
and you know, we try to justify that with like, oh yeah, like, you know, people die in car accidents, people die from cancer, people die in the mountains. But I mean, you know, it kind of gets to the point where you're like, well, you know, I've lost a lot of amigos to the, you know, the great hills of the world. And and it's really interesting. I mean, it's really challenging. It creates a lot of, you know, it can create a lot of doubt. It can create a lot of introspection, and I think that really engaging each of those emotions is really important. And I think that engaging those with Shannon is important. I really appreciate that she is somebody who, you know, I kind of feel like partners of people who spend a lot of time in the hills kind of have a choice of either saying, okay, cool, like that's your thing, do it, be safe, but just do your thing, and we'll have our things.
Right.
Or they can really engage it. They can really ask a lot of questions, and really try to understand what, you know, why and how, and Shannon's been really willing to do that. From being willing to learn how to forecast for us. You know, she was on this last trip to Alaska. She was our primary forecaster.
Really?
Uh-huh. And she's good. I mean, she's good at it. She does a really great job.
Wow.
And
it doesn't surprise me, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so it's like, and she, you know, she wants to know, you know, okay, this happened. Why? What are you going to do about it?
Right.
And so she really challenges me to say, like, okay, here's what happened. Here's what we're going to learn from it. Here's why we're going to really work hard to make sure that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, with Ueli, with Kyle and Scott.
Right. That's another one.
Last
recently.
year. I guess less than a year ago. You know, these are things that are really challenging. I think, to be perfectly honest, Kyle and Shannon knew each other, and that was really hard.
Yeah.
And those guys, you know, were good friends.
Yeah.
And you know, you just gotta, like, you know, it's kind of comes back to what we were talking about, like figuring out when to push it, when not to push it, when, you know, when you need to wrap that face in the middle of the night, and what you need to do in order to make that safe.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Caffeine supplements or whatever.
Yeah.
And really, for me, you know, Shannon and I have kind of devised this feedback loop so that, you know, she's there not to question what I'm doing, rather just to really reinforce my need to make good decisions. And you know, she does a really good job of really letting me know, like, I don't really care if you send. I just want you to come home.
Right.
And that makes it for me so that, you know, I can walk away from a climb, and that's fine.
And I've always looked at your approach to the mountains, and climbing, and been impressed by it.